saddle, moving around him, not worrying about his buddy too much. He's walking around pretty nicely. One thing you don't really want to do the second you put a cinch on a horse for a first time is start backing them. All right, that makes them feel extra trapped. Get them out there, let them walk forward, and let them feel like maybe if they have to escape, let them escape. But don't be putting yourself right out in front of your horse and saying back up with this pressure underneath and around their body. Horses are claustrophobic by nature, so we need to be respectful of that. So we're going to go ahead and ask him to go a little faster with all these weird things going on above him. And I want him to enjoy it. My job is not to make him upset and angry. My job is to help him feel rewarded and comfortable for doing the right thing. Right there, that was fine, right? Picked up the nice trot, that was good. Don't want to upset him. I just want to help him learn that we're going to do silly things. We're not going to do painful things or impossible things. We are going to do silly things, and these silly things will become something you have to be responsible about. But right now, just make the changes that you need to make. There, he's licking his lips. He's saying, okay, I'm okay. This is a silly thing on my back right now. Not sure I like. But I'm looking at his eyes, I'm looking at his ears, I'm looking at his nose, and I'm just watching his expression. If he's frustrated or if he's scared, right now I can see that he's just kind of like, this is a unique thing. But he's doing a really nice job. All right, one thing I do notice is he's trotting, he's kind of got his weight back a bit, which I'm not that mad about. A lot of horses get their weight right on the front end pretty quick, and it looks like a bucking horse. So I'm looking for every opportunity for him to let me tell him with the stick here to get moving. So he's feeling that pressure that will be similar to a rider. That's good. Perfect. And let's see if we can move into those hindquarter yields again. Asking those hindquarters to move around. That looks great. And then be prepared to welcome that face. Let him know that you hid your hiney beautifully, buddy. That was good. Let's head on over here. Make sure he's doing a good job there. And what he's now next on learning is he's going to learn to start yielding sideways and his hindquarters and then his forequarters. Move those forequarters now. That was good. He's getting a pretty good job of that. So I'm going to tap that hindquarter. Why? Because if I'm using my legs and I'm asking him to do things, that's going to feel claustrophobic. So don't expect to just coddle and dance around your horse and then get your weight up in that saddle and expect that horse to be like, oh, this is no big deal, because it's going to be a big deal to them, right? Perfect. So we're going to go move right into our mounting game. I'm very proud of him today. He's doing a really good job of staying placed and trying his butt off. And this will be his first time with human weight over his back. Being like, whoa, what are you doing, Jordan? You need to put the bit in that horse's mouth in order to be able to shut it down if it would start to freak out or get really upset. So now him being 15 years old, I don't know how many people maybe have attempted a colt start on him that went really bad, right? So that's the biggest concern I have with older horses. It's not that he's gone unstarted for 15 years. It's who's tried, right? And if they made that scary or they made it frustrating and they were too invasive and they moved too fast too soon, I'm going to have some habits I've got to continue to work through with him. And we got to go slower to speed up. So the reason I don't have a bit in the horse's mouth is because his feel is kind of where it needs to be on the ground. I'm actually pretty excited about how he feels on the ground. He's changing direction. He's pulling that nose around when I want to, and none of it's taking too much work. It's all pretty light and easy. Perfect. So now that I've got this hackamore, this is one thing about Bozels. They all have these. So do your Makati Rein style horsemanship bridles, which would be next for him. Is this lead rope is really, really helpful to be able to maintain communication when things might go a little sour. You don't want to get stuck to holding a little rein if your horse needs to express himself a little bit, and you need to help him through that. All right. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and wiggle this a little bit. I want to get in here kind of like, just like this saddle is, buddy. So am I. I'm just another little silly thing that don't be frustrated with it. Don't be upset about it. But I'm not going to just pet it away, and I'm not going to just be like, oh boy, poor boy. I am going to help him have the conversations he needs to have. Relationship development, your definition of rideable might be a little different, but never compromise the relationship. Get rid of the phone here so that way I don't smash it in the saddle. Step one, we're going to just go ahead and ask him to bend his head around, and we're going to put our hand on the horn so that way I can feel where his front feet are. You can even rest your elbow on his back too. Just kind of wait this out, and when you see my left hand's ready to rub him, when he gives up that opposition reflex, and when he gives up his buddy that's over there, when he gives that up, rub it away. I want him to start finding comfort in that head bend. Here we go again. We're going to do this side again. Here we go. Hold that pressure. Wait for the feet to deactivate. Wait for the nose to come around and release. Perfect. That release is what teaches him what I want. If I don't release him, then all of a sudden he's never going to feel right. Here we go again. We're going to just go ahead and wait. When he comes around, my hand's ready to rub him. Don't be using cookies. Okay, sometimes you can, but don't be getting all like everything he does is for a cookie. You don't bribe a horse into becoming an effective communicator. You've got to learn pressure, release, the type of pressure, the positioning. That's good. I'm going to rub that away and release him. Perfect. We're going to try that way again. So what I'm already establishing here on the ground is his steering wheel and his emergency brake. So this is going to be something we really need to have working pretty well before we jump in the saddle. There you go. Perfect. Good job, buddy. All right. So we're about there. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the mounting game. All right. Get in his business. Don't be afraid of his hind quarter. Rub it away. Make sure you're talking to that. Wiggle that saddle. Make sure he's good with that. Good. Now go ahead and make sure that we can jump on his side here. And he's going to be like, that's goofy. I'm not sure about that. He did a good job holding his feet there. I'm going to pull him away. Just like he's lazy and doesn't want to move. Pull him away from that. Say, now we're going to go ahead and go back in there. And we're going to go ahead and jump next to you again. And I'm adding a little weight to that saddle with every jump. And I'm going to reward him for his try. You see that he's a little alert, a little bit like, oh boy, what's going on there? We're going to take the time it takes for him to get an understanding that none of this is a big deal. We're going to head on over to this side. Good boy. Jump over here. I can even rub his neck while I do that. You see I'm rubbing his neck here. And he's doing good. Rub his hind quarter. Pull him away from that. What he's going to start doing is he's going to start saying, okay, this guy really cares about my feelings. That's why he's giving me these rewards. Head on over here. Same story. Rub the other side of his neck. Rub this side of his neck. Wiggle that saddle a little bit. Make sure he's comfortable and ready. And start our jump. I like to put a little pressure on my left hand here. Make sure that he's feeling comfortable with that. Go ahead and move his hindquarters a little bit. Say, move those hindquarters a little bit. You're going to get in your business. Do the things that you're good at. Tap those hindquarters. When he starts moving them, I'm rubbing that away. Let him know that's good. Here we go again. Get him balanced. Tap, 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 tap. He's rubbing that away. Perfect. Here we go. Go ahead and put our foot in the stirrup. That was good. Get my pants all adjusted here. Good job. Rein in the mane. You see how it's collected to his nose? So that way I have control over his nose. He doesn't just start running off. So now you can see he's feeling my weight a little bit in that stirrup. But when people say, Jordan, why aren't you wearing a helmet? It's because I'm going to make that stirrup rideable before my butt sits on that saddle. And sir, there he exhaled. I'm going to pull him away from that. And this walk away is simulating those first steps under saddle. Saying, yeah, so silly things are going to happen, and then you're going to just kind of walk out of it. It's going to be nice and relaxed. Perfect. Here we go again. Wiggle that saddle. Make sure he's balanced. And there we go. Go ahead and jump up and down. He's starting to say, okay, I get that. Rub the other side of his body, because that's what's going to happen next. Just make sure this process is something that he feels comfortable with. I'm going to jump up a little higher. Perfect. Rub that away. And understand you're going to get all these rewards as often as you need for that opposition reflex to start melting away. But there's two sides to every horse. So don't just make that right side a surprise when your legs just start swinging over to the other side of his body. Make sure he's balanced. That's pretty good. Good, good. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and put our foot in that stirrup there. And we're just going to go ahead and hop a little bit in this side. You can see he's starting to just kind of get to a place where he's starting to relax a little bit. I'm going to stay with him there on those steps he's taken. And that's perfect. All right, we're going to go and walk him out of that. All right, and then next we're going to go ahead and see what we can do to maybe start putting a little more weight in that stirrup there. Help him get to a point where he starts to realize it's okay. Rub that away. He did good for that higher jump. Did really good for that higher jump. Rub those haunches and reward him. So what I'm showing you right now is what you'd want to be doing at home. All right. As far as if you're running through a lot of colts and young horses, this horse doesn't have the play drive, the curiosity, and the confidence that a young horse has. Not that he's that damaged or anything, but he's 15. He's got old habits for a horse that's never gone through this before. So we've got to be prepared to take a little bit more time to instill these habits that he needs to learn about. I want him to feel very welcomed, to come back here. I'm going to rub that other side of him, rub those haunches while I jump up there. See if we can get a little higher. Perfect. Perfect. And we're going to rub that away. Help him just realize this. You know, for you guys that can't jump on your horse without stirrups or a mounting block, you're going to need that stirrup to help you step up. Okay? If I'm doing this at 95 years old, I'll be in that same boat. Maybe when I'm 55, I'll probably be in that same boat. Okay, but this isn't a what do you do in this situation, Jordan? This is a what should you do in this situation, Jordan? All right, that's why we're making these videos for you guys. Perfect. Go ahead and start mounting here and rub that away on the other side of him. It's the same rubs that he's gotten so used to now. Perfect, and rub that away. So now this is him just taking on weight for the first time. All right, we're going to head on over to his other side and make sure that's coming along just as good. There we go. Another thing too is you want to make sure that you're not putting your whole foot in that stirrup. Make sure that when he came around like that to say hi, welcome that. You wouldn't believe how many people will have a horse come around to sniff them and they'll be like, no, don't bite me. Holy cow, get your priorities straight, folks. Let your horse be curious. Let your horse be interested. Let your horse feel welcomed into these things that we're doing to them. They didn't choose this. Get your priorities straight. I'm not worried about him biting me. I'm worried about him feeling comfortable with what I'm doing to him. This is not natural to him. But the way I'm teaching him is natural. Rub this other side of his body. My arm will become my leg. Rub that away. And now we're going to mosey on away from him here. If you think about it, when he's in the wild, if he was in the wild, what's the last place you'd want a predator as a prey animal like him? On top of you, all right? And that's what predators do. Once they get up on top of their pole, they can puncture that hormone, put them into a state of shock, and they're gone. So he's protecting himself. So I need to use the horse's language to help him realize that I'm not a predator that's just trying to get you. I'm a partner that wants a relationship. Attaboy. So now another thing that I've seen people do is when they get to this stage and their horse maybe takes an accidental step or they're trying to get their balance, is they start getting angry. No, Jordan Brasser told me to make you stand still. No. Again, that's predatorial mentality. Let him take some accidental steps. If he stops, then you just got accelerated development. And then if he doesn't stop,